Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to this special broadcast on Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha. India's Operation Sindoor, which hit terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir to avenge the Pahalgam terror attack, has firmly etched a red line against cross-border terrorism. Aimed at neutralizing high-value terror infrastructure and deterring future infiltration, the operation has not only redefined the rules of engagement but also raised critical questions about what comes next. Pakistan has obviously spoken of its intent to respond. In fact, it has already begun so. In heavy artillery and mortar shelling on border villages on the Indian side, Pakistani firing has claimed innocent lives, including that of young children. So as tensions remain high on the border, India must prepare on multiple fronts, militarily, diplomatically and strategically, to safeguard its gains and deter misadventures. We have a panel of distinguished minds who have not just studied these situations in the past, they've lived them, tackled them effectively and shaped India's responses. So drawing from their experiences, we'll try and understand how India needs to keep vigilant and also be prepared on multiple fronts. Let me begin the program by welcoming our esteemed guests. I'm delighted to have with us on the program Lieutenant General Rameshwar Yadav, retired. He's former Director General Infantry, the Indian Army. General Yadav, thank you very much for your time. Welcome to Sansad TV. Also delighted to welcome Air Marshal Vijay Pal Singh Rana, retired. He's former Air Force officer in charge administration. He commanded a radar unit during Operation Kargil and contributed immensely during Operation Parakram. Air Marshal, always a pleasure to have you with us on the program. And Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri, he served as Ambassador of India to the European Union, Belgium, Luxembourg, Nepal, and also as Ambassador, Deputy Permanent Representative of India to the United Nations. Thank you, Ambassador. Always a pleasure to have you on my program on Sansad TV as well. Through Operation Sindoor, India has not just sent out a powerful message that it will not tolerate terrorism. The message to the terrorists has been loud and clear that you cannot divide us on the lines of religion, that India stands united in the face of terrorism, and whatever it takes, India will respond each time with greater scale and impact to, for it to act as deterrence. Now, General, if I may begin the program with your perspective on how do you assess the preparedness of our ground forces for sustained escalation post-Operation Sindoor? It's been over 24 hours and we are seeing that Pakistan has indulged in incessant, unprovoked firing at our border villages and which has claimed innocent lives.
If you look at it, what has happened in last 24 hours, we have conveyed two messages to Pakistan as regards to military might of Indian Army. Number one is the political will. India has got political will to go to war with Pakistan because Pakistan has not managed their ways as of now. And the second thing and major thing from the military perspective is that we have conveyed that we have capability to strike you anytime, anywhere. And now this time we have struck only the 9 terror hubs that Pakistan has been nurturing all this time. And at the same time, a message has gone across that we have capability to hit your strategic target, hit your military targets, and even individuals in case we wish to. So that is the kind of capability we have given. And the third thing what we have done is diplomatically, we have seen to it and we have shaped the complete environment in a manner that the entire international community is in support of India because nobody wants to have these terror footprints anywhere in the world. So having done that, now coming to your main question regarding the military prowess of India, may I tell you that India, all three forces are fully capable to undertake any operation at any one time. We have taken 14 to 15 days before we have actually used very fraction of our military capabilities basically to showcase and demonstrate what we can do. And in case the entire the situation escalates, we are in a position to defeat Pakistan like we have done it 4 times earlier. So I have no doubt in my mind that Navy is capable of it is a little with the 2 aircraft carriers and almost 3 times the capability that we have vis-a-vis Pak Navy. As far as Army is concerned, we are much superior. As far as Air Force is concerned, technologically we have very means edge, and which we have already demonstrated. So Pakistan, it is better that they mend their ways and they do not escalate. And in case they escalate, they are doomed. Nisha?
Okay. Air Marshal, the fact that India has struck so deep inside Pakistan, perhaps after 1971, it's the first such instance, correct me if I'm wrong, and which has targeted critical terror infrastructure, devastating them. Pakistan's response to retaliate is but obvious given their support and nurture to the terrorist groups. What kind of face-saving strategy do you now expect from Pakistan?
First of all, I endorse everything what General Yadav said. We are fully prepared as far as any kind of response that are likely to come. But what is the most important point in this is the kind of signaling that we have done. There are three important points that we must keep in mind. All the targets that have been chosen are very, very carefully chosen. Every single target has a footprint of past terror incident, whether it is from Mumbai attack or from Parliament attack or Uri, Gulmarg, Sonmarg. Every single target out of these 9 had something to do with some of or more than one of these incidents. So that is one very, very well calculated selection, very carefully chosen. Then second most important part of this is which actually should indicate to Pakistan, and they better be advised to take those indications very, very seriously. That is that, however, it was a very, very calibrated response, but you see the kind of targeting that we have done. It is the synergized approach of all armed forces. If you are, I'm sure you are analyzing the kind of impact that it has done. Even within the single complex of Bahawalpur, there are 3-4 different kind of impact that can be seen from the the battle assessment that has come either through the local videos or through the UAVs. You see the kind of impact the weapons have created, very precise, to the point, and different kind of munitions being used in the same complex. That means it has been a very, very complex operation, coordinating effort from UAVs, coordinating of effort from air-launched cruise missiles to the organic weapons of army. Every kind of weapon has been used simultaneously. And probably that explains the little delay that we had, because you need a very, very sound, careful planning to do these kind of operations. So that should indicate to Pakistan that what capability today India has. All our responses in the past have been very, very measured, and it was just kind of sending a small signal that we would do this to you. But this time we have done this to him.
Absolutely.
It's the first time that we have done we can call it a preemptive strike, so to say. Every other time in previous wars, it has been the Pakistan which has struck us through the airstrikes. This is the first.
A related question, Air Marshal, since you've contributed immensely to Operation Parakram, given the history of India-Pakistan conflicts, do you see a pattern in Pakistan's response this time? And if so, how can India break this cycle? Because India has made it clear that we've not targeted your military installations, we've not targeted any civilians. The target has only been aimed at devastating the terrorist infrastructure, which is hitting the common Indian people, and something that India will not tolerate.
Absolutely. This is something, for the international audience, this is our indication to other countries as well that, see, we mean business. We are not out there to do any collateral damage of any kind. We have the capability of the precise munitions. We've displayed that. And should there be a requirement to go to any other kind of target, we are ready. If we are ready with these kind of small targets, then you can very well imagine if there are larger targets, it's that much easier to target those, and with the kind of weapons that we have in our arsenal today. But what is the Pakistan's response so far has been what it was, because probably they are also pretty confused that what to go from here. If they go up the escalation ladder, then they had it. They know it very well. If they keep it they have a domestic audience to domestic constituency to explain to. So they have been doing the kind of activities that they have done. They've attacked the innocent civilians all along. So to their domestic constituency, they said we done that attack. They did that post Balakot as well. They did something and then they said, okay, we are ready to withdraw. And those are the kind of signal they are giving now. We were wrong to give the signal. I think in Parakram, we were there more than a year and we suffered casualties without fighting a war. This time, we are not ready to do those mistakes. We are ready to take it to the enemy, take it to his hinterland, and need be go to any target that is there. So I think the messaging is clear, display is very clear that we mean business, diplomatically, economically, militarily. And we will be at it.
How effective that messaging has been is something that I'll take across to Ambassador Puri. Ambassador, since we're discussing the aftermath and we do realize that in the last 24 hours, India's Operation Sindoor has drawn a global response. Some countries stand with India, some of course with Pakistan. But the question here is, how do you assess the global response, especially the key partners that India has? And how do you think India can now leverage its diplomatic channels to send across the right message that India has only acted against terrorism and this has been a strategy only to avenge the terrorist attack on our innocent people?
Tina, thank you very much. And of course, I endorse everything that General Saab and Air Marshal Saab have said. Look, this was a clear and hard signal to Pakistan and also to the world that, look, we mean business and don't trifle with us, especially in what was done in Pahalgam, which is targeting of civilians, which is heinous, quite apart from being an absolute terrorist attack. And it has affected the soul of India in a sense, and that's why the retaliation has been hard. Let's not forget, for the first time, perhaps we reached into Punjab and hit a target out there. It's a signal. Now, coming to the rest of the world, look, there are just a handful of countries, and Pakistan will continue to play by its own playbook. I have little doubt about that. The shelling in the border, so unfortunate, innocents being killed. This is an old playbook that they've used. They don't really learn. And it is, of course, my belief that they're not going to learn from this either, because terrorism is a state policy in Pakistan. However, we need to tackle it, and we've sent very strong signals. Now, for the present, what do I want to say? Look, there are hardly any countries which have come out in their support. That's not the issue. Everybody recognizes that what was done in India was absolutely wrong against all tenets of international domestic law and needed a response and people agree. However, of course, the major countries will say, de-escalate. What is it that I think we need to do? And we know we've reached out to countries very well. We've made detailed briefings. I'm sure yesterday the Foreign Secretary in his briefings to all the major envoys even handed over evidence to them, which proves the point that, you end up with situations as ludicrous as this, as a Pakistan minister being asked that you say you down jets. What is the proof? And he says, look at social media. So, these are facts, and these are facts which bring about India's credibility in what we've done in the area. Now, talking about the next steps, I think it's very important for Pakistan to be reached out to diplomatically, to be told in no uncertain terms, look, your old playbook, not acceptable. There's a changed India here. In your own interest, not just back down. If you can make amends, but certainly back them. Who are the key countries? In my opinion, without doubt, the United States. Look, let's admit they have leverage over us, but they have huge leverage over Pakistan. And when they say something, it'll be very difficult for the Pakistanis to say no. Secondly, the Chinese. For all their support, etc., to the Chinese, behind the scenes, above the table, at the UN Security Council, etc., it's important to reach out and tell them, look, you may have whatever relations there, but tell them to desist, because the impact on them will be such that they won't be able to bear it, and it won't do you any good either. Two more countries, in my opinion, are very important. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
Look, Pakistan is a country in financial distress. It's also a country that needs a certain amount of, as they say, community backing behind it. These countries also have outstanding relations with India, and they've worked hard to build these relations. But we need to tell them to use their fairly extensive leverage in Pakistan and tell them, look, guys, you need to do something for your domestic audience in terms of what you signal. That's fine. But please ensure that there is no kind of action on the soil of India or against India which demands that we take hard action, because the action will be hard and the nose will be bloody.
So we do hope that these diplomatic channels will work effectively and that this cycle will break. But General Yadav, as much as India would not want tensions to escalate, the fact is that Pakistan will resort to strategies, conventional, sub-conventional, to hit back at India. Given your experience as DG Infantry, in the days to come, how can our deployment strategies evolve to deter swift retaliation, if any, by Pakistan that will be anticipated?
You see, the deployment of the forces is contingent on what is the threat. So we will deploy our forces in a manner that they provide you optimal deployment, and also to take care of the threat. At the same time, keep adequate reserves to anticipate any kind of decision that you have to take. So, no, but coming back to situation within Pakistan, you see, Pakistan is a divided society as on date. There is a civil-military divide, and there is a divide between the regions, that is Baloch, Pathans, Sindhis, and the Punjabis. And you see, since what happened yesterday and what is happening thereafter, the number of bomb blasts which has taken place, and all of them are in Punjab, it goes to show that there is a lot of dissent with other regions, and probably it is being done by that. But at the same time, we cannot ignore that it could also be self-initiated by the ISI, maybe by default or by design. The time is ripe as of now, because there is an internal strife within Pakistan which has been demonstrated now, and at the same time there is an external threat from India. Given the situation now, is the civil administration capable of handling the situation? And this is an occasion, probably the army may take on the political role, may not be directly, maybe they'll keep the facade of civil administration in front, and they do the power jockeying from behind the scene. So that is a state as of now. So coming back to your question, so as far as Pakistan is concerned, their forces are concerned, as I told you earlier, their capabilities are much lesser than ours. Their logistics capabilities are very restricted. I believe their fuel that they have for their mechanized forces is very limited, and so are other logistics requirement, ammunition, various other things which are required for an all-out war. So in the given circumstances, our deployment would be contingent on what actually Pakistan can do, and we have adequate intelligence infrastructure, which is space-based, air-based, and the ground-based, and other clandestine intelligence, which would give us the movement of Pakistani troops in case they intend opening up any of the fronts, and accordingly we are going to retaliate and give our response befittingly.
I think that's a very significant point, and I'll take that to Air Marshal. The fact that Pakistan in the current situation may not have the resources, the bandwidth to escalate tensions further and to sustain it perhaps in a conventional manner. But in the sub-conventional manner, Air Marshal, the deep state will hit back, and for that we'll have to perhaps be prepared, not just for days but maybe for months, years, because after 2019, Pahalgam happened after a gap of 6 years. So in that situation, how should India be prepared? What should be our strategy that after Operation Sindoor, we need to ensure that another Pahalgam does not happen?
Absolutely. This is a well-known fact, and we have seen that yesterday the entire military and the political powers that are there in Pakistan were there in their last rites of the terrorists. So that is the biggest proof that terror is their state policy. and it's not going to go down. And in fact, it has become part of their doctrine. And in a well-embedded military doctrine talks about the terror outfits. It is out there in the documents that were leaked. So they want terrorists to fight their first war. And they do not probably want to get into conventional war, which they know, like General Yadav said, we are far, far better off than what they are. And that is why they have been using terror tool all along. And that is why it was important to give them the kind of signaling that we did, that this is only 9. And should there be the thing, we are ready for 90 and we are ready for 900 such targets. So that is what we must keep that pressure on. We must make sure and never ever believe them with whatever they come. We believed them in 71. We believed them during Kargil little bit. And every time we have been giving them a long rope. So I think this is a high time, a lesson for us to be taken is never take them and believe them what they are going to say. Keep your preparedness to the best. All the time, be it for the conventional war, be it for the terrorist strikes. I think we now need to be more firm on ground. As far as the terror outfits are concerned, maybe give them bloody noses whenever we confront them, whether at the in our hinterland or in their launch pads. So I think that is one measure that we have to consistently be upgrading, that we should be at our will targeting whenever we get that kind of intelligence that there is a launch pad which is going to be there, and that needs to be destroyed before it becomes effective onto ourselves. Other than that, in any case, for some time now, we would have to be at great alert. For a rogue state like Pakistan, you never believe. So particularly the air defenses have to be on a really guard. Air defense happens in any case 24/7, even in peacetime. We are at it, but probably with much larger alertness. We have to be at it till this subsides. And like I said, never ever believe them hereinafter.
Absolutely. And when you say, Air Marshal, that we need to be alert in the times to come, in situations like these, how important is synergy between air, ground, intelligence, all of the stakeholders concerned in the event of a Pakistani misadventure? Because that's something that eventually we will have to be prepared. The attack, the Pahalgam attack and India's response has brought Pakistan into mainstream global media, and they will try their best to have their own narrative at the global platform.
I think we already have it as far as the armed forces are concerned. Like I said, if you study the targeting philosophy this time, you would know that it would have taken a lot of synergized effort between the armed forces to be able to affect this kind of targeting. Otherwise, generally, Army has their own targets, Air Force have their own targets, Navy has their own targets. But this is the first time synergistically we have gone into this. And when we have gone into these strikes, I'm sure there is a combined intelligence that is working at a national level. There is an integration happening of all kind of resources that are there of the national power working synergistically to that common objective. And I think we are pretty well in that direction. But this, rightly you said, we need to strengthen that every single intelligence organ or the military organ or the diplomatic organ has to work very synergistically.
Absolutely. So I think while our armed forces, our intelligence forces, our leadership are doing what they can best to keep us safe and secure. Ambassador Puri, while we are giving them bloody noses and making sure that they pay in equal measure for claiming innocent Indian lives. The question is now situations have changed from back in 1971, even when the Kargil war happened. Today, India is a force to reckon with at the global stage. How can we ensure that this global pressure on Pakistan is sustained to stop supporting terror, and perhaps also maybe push forward the policy of isolating Pakistan if it does not stop aiding or supporting the terror groups on its soil?
Tina, thank you. Look, this has been our effort for a very long time. And please note what happened in the United Nations after even 9/11. almost all the people who are listed under the terrorist list are physically located in Pakistan. How did Osama bin Laden get found there? You know, the world has no issue in understanding and knowing the fact that Pakistan is the fulcrum, the hotbed, and the cradle of terrorism. The fact that it is their state-sponsored policies, their state policy of terrorism, this is our bad luck of geography, that you have this rogue state on your border. Now, they are not a small little country. I think that's something we should understand. Second thing, we also need to understand they have a very fine and professional army. Not a match for us because of our numbers and our capacities and capabilities, but they are a very good army and we need to understand, which is why the diplomatic business is extremely important. Now, Tina, let's understand. In the last 15, 20 years, India has gone places. We are now a member of the G20. We were automatically there. We are the fourth largest economy in the world, a country which is being recognized increasingly as a must on the global high table. This pains Pakistan like nobody's business. You've seen it at the United Nations. You've seen it elsewhere. The fact that even when they raised this terror business at the United Nations Security Council, people asked them questions. Was Retd involved? Nobody came in their favor, and even having themselves in the room and the Chinese on their support, they could at best whittle down a few wordings, etc. The world knows who they are and that they are sponsored. But they are a big country and they are located strategically. And so therefore, this is a matter that we need to work on it. It is, let me say, the way things are. We have to be satark, if I use this Hindi word, and exactly what General Saab and Air Marshal Saab said, we have to be prepared. Yeah, Air Marshal Saab, is not a question of believing those guys. We don't believe them, but we have little doubt, little choice. Kargil, you know, the Americans intervened. So there are lots of issues to this. That's how the global polity also crumbles. But let's understand very clearly. India is a changed country. The world understands India and needs India and finds India a country of imperative utility to them, which is why the world tends to want to do things which are good for India because it helps the world. It's in the world's vested interest. This is the single biggest pressure point on Pakistan, without any doubt. Will it get them to change their playbook? I don't think so. Because it's the nature of the polity in that country, where the military runs the country. It's the opposite of the rest of the world, where countries have military, there are military as a country. What can I say about it? That's the nature of it. However, at about nearly 200 million people, it just can't be wished away. That's the problem. It's also its location and the way it allows itself to be used for global geopolitical game. These are realities of things. But look, for the time being, a very strong, hard and correct signal has been given to them. And the world, I have little doubt, will lean on them pretty hard. That guys, look, no matter what your great policies are, etc., at the moment, remember, you've taken a hit, you did something which was wrong, you got hit, back down, behave yourself. The world has other things to, focus itself on. And India is a country which is in the right of this. That also is a point which, will be hammered to them, even if it is done privately.
I think Ambassador truly said that's the unfortunate part, that even though India has left them, Pakistan is not willing to leave India. We are a far more superior power economically, diplomatically, strategically, and we become a force to reckon with on the global platform. But Pakistan is just not willing to leave India and manage its own backyard. But I think that having been said, the message here is that all of us have to be alert in the times to come. Pakistan will not resort to exporting terrorism to India, and perhaps as citizens we all have to trust our armed forces, trust our leadership, at the same time maintain caution and not fall to propaganda and social media messages as well, and only believe on credible messaging platforms from the government. So that having been said, I'll have to wind up the program. Thank you to all our guests for joining us on Sansad TV, sharing your thoughts and views with us and our viewers. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.